Okay, guys, quick question. Who do you think is the bigger bully? Laura Ingraham or David Hogg? I'm just asking you. Quick question. Who do you think is the bigger bully? Alright, Laura Ingraham, I admit, has done some bullying in her time. But she normally does it to celebrities who she believes, and most people in politics believe, at least when you're on the right, that if you don't have any real political expertise, why the fuck are you talking about politics? Which is understandable, but then again, everybody has a right to an opinion in the United States of America, and sometimes she can go a little bit outlandish, like she kind of did with David Hogg. But David Hogg, who has been... Oh yeah, and I'm going to cut on some music while this is going on. Yeah, but David Hogg has been uber fucking, like, what? He's been really, really zealous when it comes to his political opponents. For some goddamn reason, he just thinks it's okay, or that it's acceptable to call your political foes child murderers, people who are sold out, who sell out to the NRA, that they're fucking morons who don't know how to run the government, which they are, certainly some of them are, not who he is talking about. And even when your fellow students are disagreeing with you, he will also call them super horrible names. Alright, now I'm going to read you a couple of the things that he has said, courtesy of Larry Elder, who, thank God for tweeting a bunch of these things that David Hogg has said on Twitter, because David Hogg is just... he is bad, alright? But before we do that, I'm going to give you the whole rundown on this whole Laura Ingraham David Hogg thing. Okay, so David Hogg was talking to TMZ last week about college admissions, because one of the reporters asked him about how everything was going. He said, nah, I got turned down by a couple big colleges like UCLA and stuff like that. And it was decent. He wasn't being a real dick about anything up until the last little bit, when he said, basically, if these colleges don't want to help us, that's fine, we're changing the world anyway, and stuff like that. So, yeah, that part was pretty, bad in and of itself. But was the whole conversation bad or something that warranted serious looking into? Not really. But Laura Ingraham did something very ill-advised, but this is her shtick. But it was very ill-advised. She sent out a tweet that said basically this. Basically, UCLA turned him down because he had a 4.1 GPA, and his SAT scores weren't up to par with the normal acceptance rates for UCLA. But she also said that he whined about it. And so, I mean, yeah, that's pretty ill-advised. From a personal standpoint, that's pretty ill-advised. I don't think that's the greatest thing in the world to really do. I mean, honestly, there's a whole list of things you could criticize David Hogg for. But saying he's whining about the stuff with his college admissions, I mean, yeah, that's kind of pretty low. That is pretty low to me. But it's not the worst thing that anybody in the political sphere has ever done. It's definitely not the worst thing anyone in the political sphere has ever done. Just look at Chappaquiddick, man. Freaking Ted Kennedy leaves a woman to drown in a freaking river or a lake or whatever it was, a pond. He nearly wins the 1980 presidential nomination for the Democratic Party. But, anyway, I mean, David Hogg responded. He was not responding in a great way. He started putting out all of these advertisers' names that advertise on Laura Ingram's show on Fox News. And, boy, oh boy, she felt the fire pretty quick, but it wasn't really warranted. At least I don't think it was very warranted at all, and I think a lot of people on the right and the left actually don't. Like, if Brian Stelter thinks that these ad boycotts are very unwarranted, then David Hogg fucked up pretty bad. But he started putting out these names of the advertisers that advertise Lauren's show on Fox. Says, hey, boycott these guys, or tell these guys to boycott her, or something like that. And, I mean, and pretty soon, and not very long after, she started losing advertisers and shit like that. And I'm just like, whoa, I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, this is not the first time this has happened. This is a whole Media Matters campaign thing that's going on here. Only David Hogg's at the forefront. Not Media Matters. But yeah, it was a... Yeah, Laura Ingram's show pretty much got screwed by David Hogg in that regard. I mean, she started losing a whole slew of advertisers. Could not do anything really about it. And she even apologized. She apologized, dude. Like, really, I mean, she apologized. Just let her go. Just let it go. Let it go. And then we can all do whatever the fuck we want to later. That's not how David Hogg sees it. See, David Hogg sees it as an apology isn't enough, which is basically what he said. And he started going on this little tangent about why didn't she apologize to LeBron James, and he was talking about Trump and stuff like that, and she told him to shut up and dribble, which is pretty dumb because, I mean, this is her entire thing. She wrote an entire book called Shut Up and Sing, where she criticized a bunch of people in the pop music, or in the music industry who were so uber political. She was telling them, hey, you guys need to shut up and just do your thing and stay out of politics, which you know absolutely nothing about, which is, I think, fair criticism, but then again, it is America. You have the right to speak, whether or not you know a lot about the thing, and I'm not criticizing David Hogg's right to speak. I'm criticizing the way he's handling this situation, because he certainly is not handling this situation like a decent human being, right? And this is what it really comes down to for a lot of people, is human decency, is the decency of David Hogg going after Laura Ingraham. And I'm telling you, it's not, David Hogg isn't handling it. He isn't handling it like a person, like a normal person, alright? Considering he's been going out there cussing out people who disagree with him on a routine basis, saying that the politicians in this country are comparable to parents who don't know anything about tech, which makes them basically the stereotype of the kid who hates his parents because they aren't hip enough. And it's just like, why are you doing this? And yeah, like I said, but she still apologized, but he said, well, she's only doing it to save her advertisers, so I'm not going to accept her apology and shit like that. Which I'm just like, dude. So what? I know she's doing this to save her advertisers. I mean, that's what you gotta do. That's really what you gotta do in that situation. It's pretty hard to get out of that situation, right? She's going on a planned vacation, per se. But yeah, and Fox and people have been really trying to come to her support. Because, it's pretty unfair what David Hogg is doing with Laura, in regard to Laura. I swear, and there's just so many people coming to her defense, but, okay. And while I think Laura's tweet was very unorthodox and uncalled for, it was relatively mild. I mean, you can at least say that. It was mild. It wasn't the worst thing someone's ever said. I mean, Twitter is basically the place of saying fuck you to your political opponents. So, yeah, that's my whole thing. It's not the worst thing anybody's ever said. It's not the greatest thing anybody's ever said. Not everybody can be a Abraham Lincoln with words. But okay, I'm going to read you, courtesy of Larry Elder on Twitter, thank you God, a bunch of these things that David Hogg has been saying about other people. Okay, so our parents don't know how to use the effing democracy, so you don't have to. But Laura Ingraham is losing advertisers because she tweeted about Hogg being rejected by colleges. They're calling her a bully, courtesy of Larry Elder. And then Larry Elder, and Hogg was also doing stuff like the whole thing where he was at the March for Our Lives, and he said, I'm going to put on this price tag called $1.05, and because that's how much Marco Rubio gets paid for how many children he's killed by accepting donations from the NRA, which is verifiably false. Alright, and $1.05, like I did in the previous video, for $1.05 for every student that was killed at Parkland, that was effectively $17.85. Alright, and school shootings don't happen every day. Alright, I'm going to do the math right now. If I can just pull up my calculator. Say there's 200 students killed. Oh, but no. Dang it. Alright, say there's 200 students killed. And I'll time it at 200 students times 185. 105. That's only $210. Alright, Marco Rubio accepted at least $170,000 in campaign donations from the NRA, which is very minuscule, considering how much money was put into the 2016 election cycle. I mean, it was insane. It was millions upon millions of dollars put into the 2016 presidential campaign. I mean, that's pretty minuscule. Alright, that doesn't even crack 200,000. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. How is that being bribed by the NRA? If he was being bribed, which there is no verifiable evidence that he ever was bribed by the NRA. I mean, seriously, I swear to flipping God, I just do not understand what is going through this kid's head. I mean, I really want to know what is going through his head. So, alright, so we'll go into the next one. Is that what sick? And alright, here's another one. What sick fuck out there wants to continue to sell more guns, murder more children, just to get reelected? What type of shit person does that? They could have blood from children splattered all over their faces and they wouldn't take action. That is like, what? No. What are you saying, David? I have no fucking clue what you are saying. You're saying that. Alright, and he also says stuff about Dana Lash, like, she doesn't care about her kids. Technically, that was Emma Gonzalez, but still. They were saying stuff like she doesn't care about her kids, and stuff like that. And David Hogg also said that she basically owns politicians in front of CNN panelists, and they say absolutely nothing when he said that, even though that was verifiably false. I mean, this is just pretty egregious stuff from David Hogg. Pretty egregious. And honestly, a bunch of people leaping to his defense are not doing themselves any favors here. And, I mean, point one among them is Kurt Eichenwald, who got into a big Twitter babble with Kyle Kashev, one of the other kids who survived the Parkland shooting, who was a advocate of the Second Amendment. A bunch of people were jumping on him. Joe Wallace was jumping on him and stuff like that. A bunch of people were just jumping on Kyle for no reason other than the fact that he was a Parkland survivor who didn't appeal to the dogma of the left in regard to guns. But I'm going to also delve into another internet personality who, if you ever watched Rooster Teeth, if you ever watched my videos where I express disdain towards some people who just don't know what in the living world of God they're talking about when it comes to politics, you might remember the name of Blaine Gibson and Ann Holem. Ann Holem was retweeting a whole bunch of shit about how Laura is the bully in every situation with David Hogg, and how she's not going to silence us because we are too strong and shit like that. And Blaine Gibson's also saying shit like, we shouldn't be giving teachers guns and shit like that to protect the kids, because one teacher happened to go super zealous in Georgia. At least I'm pretty sure. He tweeted that out. He said, this is why we shouldn't be giving teachers fucking guns and shit like that. And I'm just like, boy, I tweeted this out at him. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? On the off chance one teacher happens to go zealous, you're saying that we can't protect kids? Like, we can't let teachers have guns if they want to. I mean, dude, not teachers, banks and sporting events have more security than schools do. Alright, sporting events have more security, okay? I've been to a sporting event at a school where they actually will have armed guards, but there is no armed guards patrolling the school during the day. Alright? It's pretty freaking crazy. And he also retweeted this thing from some guy named Nathan G. And he said, let's rename school as uterus, so maybe Republican lawmakers will do something about the children dying inside of them, which I had also stated in a previous video that is super retarded on so many levels. Like, you have to be ignorant of everything going on in the world of politics right now. And ignorant of basically every law right now in America to say that Republicans are trying to, restrict women's uteruses or the only reason that Republicans are stopping women from having abortions is because we need to control women or something like that, which is blatantly false. Alright, most people don't want to see babies killed because they don't want to see babies killed. How about that, assholes? Like, seriously, these people have no idea what they're talking about. Alright, it was a teacher in Georgia, fired a gun inside classroom, barricaded himself in there for about 30 minutes before he was taken into custody. I guess they also forgetting about the dozens of people who have been saved by guns every day. Alright, it's like with the Orlando shooting. One of the things with the Orlando shooting, right after the Orlando shooting, there was a bar that got shot up. A couple got shot up, and it could have been worse, but there was a patron there who had a gun and shot the shooter and managed to drive him away. Alright, we're also forgetting about the Sutherland Springs shootings. While there was a lot of people killed, there was a member of the NRA right in there. There's a member of the NRA that went in there barefoot, chased after the dude in another guy's truck. And him and another guy stopped that shooter. Alright, and there's dozens of examples. Alright, NRA reports them a lot in their their magazines, about so many people that are actually using guns in self-defense to keep intruders out of their homes or to stop active shooter situations. But you're not going to hear the mainstream news talk about it. You're not going to hear Blaine Gibson talk about it. You're not going to hear Kurt Eichenwald talk about it. You're not going to hear David Hogg talk about it, because they all have an agenda. That's to ignore things about guns so you can push this stupid-ass agenda to disarm all of America. That's really what they're trying to do. They want Americans disarmed. They want to be like Europe, even though Europe has a really huge fucking crime rate. Alright, America may have more gun crime, but they're also beginning in statistics, more people are getting killed by guns and suicides. Most people who are getting killed are not being killed by rifles, but by handguns. Where's all the statistics about that? And you have a bunch of people who are actually going out there saying that we should be banning all guns. Alright? No handguns, no rifles, nothing. You can't have anything, which is asinine. Go into Texas right now. Try to tell over 90% of the citizens that are living in Texas that we're going to take your guns. Try telling them that. Good luck. Good luck telling them that. I guarantee you're going to be met with the gun to the face and telling them no and to leave my property. I guarantee you. If that seems extreme, wait until we have a freaking full-scale civil war because of this bullshit. Just try it. Just fucking try it. But this whole thing with Laura Ingraham being a bully, I mean, it's just everybody on the left has an agenda, and they want to shut down conservative speakers who even remotely disagree with them. Even if they're doing something relatively mild but uncalled for, they have to be taken off the air, even if somebody has done something extremely worse on their own side of the aisle, and they don't want to do anything about it. Alright? You have freaking people on CNN saying it's okay to call black Republicans racial slurs. Do you hear any Republicans or gun owners or people working with the NRA saying that type of shit? Do you? You see Larry Elder saying something like that? You hear Thomas Sowell saying something like that? You hear Rick Scott saying something like that? Well, I don't think it's Rick Scott, but Tim Scott. You hear that? You hear people saying that type of shit on the Republican side? Hell no, you don't. The left is the only one that will freely discriminate against people just because of political affiliation and skin color. Alright? So many people are just unnecessarily jumping on something that was just an honest mistake. She shouldn't have done this. We know she shouldn't, Laura Ingraham shouldn't have done this. But do these people care? No. And they're not being decent either. They're all saying that this is about human decency. This is not about human decency. You guys are being just as indecent with her as she was being with David Hogg. Alright? These are also the same people who are comparing George W. Bush to Nazis. To Adolf fucking Hitler. You hear any people saying anything about that? You hear an apology coming out of them about that? Of course not. Of fucking course not. You're never going to hear that type of shit. Because no one holds the left accountable except the right. Except the left has such huge control over the media swath that they can do whatever they want and basically suffer no repercussions unless they are going against their own dogma. And that's the bad situation. And that's the whole situation with Laura Ingraham. And that is what's going on. And that's what's going to continue to go on until we get something happening. We got to get something happening to get the left just out of their fucking pedestal. Alright, David Hogg. Alright, I'm not criticizing this dude for... I'm not criticizing his right to speak. Alright, I'm not trying to take away his right to speak. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. I don't care. When he's over here and trying to set up this double standard of, oh, I'm an innocent little kid, while at the same time cussing at everyone who disagrees with him, then yeah, that requires a little bit. That means he's in public life. This is going to happen in public life. He's going to get screwed. Alright. Welcome to the real world, motherfucker. Hope you enjoy it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little rant about David Hogg being a little bitch. And yeah, I'm going to call him a little bitch. I don't have any sponsors. I don't have anybody supporting me. I can basically do what I want without repercussion right now. As far as criticizing David Hogg. Alright, if he's going to act like a little dick, I'm going to act like a little dick back. And if he actually does respond to my video directly, oh boy. I'd love to debate him. I really would. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't die.